Mr. Pascrell is recognized.
Let me have some clarification on this, Mr. Barthard. We're talking about, as I understand it, looking at the legislation itself that's before us, we're talking about trying to save about $7.5 billion over 10 years. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Pascrell.
So that comes out to be about $750 million a year. Is that correct?
Well, remember,
Close.
there's the 1-year delayed start. We do on the back of the document that we made available to you, JCX 35, the very last page, provides you a line-by-line estimate.
Most of the deductions that we've been looking to, or a group of us have been looking at in terms of saving money and putting money back into the Treasury, including this one, really affects those people who are the most vulnerable in our society. Do you think that's an accurate conclusion I've come to?
I think that's really sort of part of the discussion that the committee is having.
Well, when you look at the incomes that we're talking about, and when you're looking at those people who are part of earned income tax credit, how can you sit there and say that's part of the discussion? What am I missing here?
Well, I was just saying, Mr. Pascrell, that I try to avoid making value judgments.
Okay, let me make the value judgments then. Let me make the value judgments. Let's take the case of undocumented, illegal, call human beings, whatever you wish to call them. And the United States has every right to know who is in this country and who leaves this country. And that's not the debate today. That's not the debate at all. Should the children of undocumented, in terms of the tax code, be treated any different than the undocumented?
I think that's part of the discussion that you're having with your colleagues on the committee, sir.
Well, what do you think?
Again, as I'd noted, I think I best serve all the committee members if I let the committee members debate the important policy points.
Well, we do know that if they're born here to undocumented parents, they are citizens.
That's
Is that correct or incorrect?
That's correct, sir.
So we would not question, and you correct me if I'm wrong, we would not question their eligibility in terms of the tax credit, be it an I-10 they have, be it a Social Security number they have. They would certainly be eligible for this tax credit, were they not? Their parents, they have to file a tax claim in the first place in order to even be considered.
Well, as I pointed out in the brief run-through, Mr. Pascrell, the issue that the committee is looking at right now is, do you want to change the eligibility requirements for the advanced child tax credit? And do you want to make the requirement turn on the Social Security number as a tax ID number of the person filing the return?
I would contend on this particular item, knowing the very small, and you know, $750 million is not a small amount of money, but in the scheme of things, Mr. Barthard, it is a very small amount of money compared to the entire budget, how much folks are taxed, how much the government spends. It's a very small part of it. When you come right down to it, these are philosophical issues. One we just completed, this one that we're on, and then we'll get into block grants. We're not talking about tremendous savings to the American people over a period of time. We're talking about a philosophical difference about who are eligible programs and who are not. We, on this side of the aisle, want justice just as much as the folks on the other side of the aisle want justice. But we want justice for everybody. We want justice for everybody. And I'm tired of hearing the deductions that we are considering. In fact, a candidate for President of the United States, I don't know if you've seen the news or heard the news over the last 4 or 5 days, a candidate for the United States has even suggested that we do away with the mortgage interest deduction, which is very interesting, and particularly in my state of New Jersey. So we're looking at ways, and all the ways are about the middle class. Nothing about royalties, nothing about those other things you've heard debated and discussed. This is not about the money. This is philosophically about how we can best get over. Thank you.
The gentleman's time has expired. Mr. McDermott.